Several car pile-up here.
Safety car has been deployed, unsurprisingly.
This is the worst possible thing that could happen at Monaco.
You see Chilton there.
Oh, goodness.
That was with Maldonado, who has gone straight on at the back.
That'll be, surely that's a safety car. And we got somebody else in there as well.
That was Bianchi then going in to the barrier that had wrapped itself around the Williams, and we've got a red flag because that barrier is going to need repairing.
That particular type of safety barrier they've got there is brilliantly effective. It just didn't know he'd come up the outside of him, I think.
It is a reasonably bumpy circuit. It's not as bad as you think.
Oh! That's several car pile-up here, and that's going to have an effect on the race. Michael Schumacher is involved. Look, Schumacher's on the outside, and this is going to block the racetrack. This might have to be a red flag situation, I think. Barrichello's involved, Villeneuve's involved, and that is Juan Montoya as well. So the race leader not caught up in it. Villeneuve's going to try and
get away with it. Look, Villeneuve's going to clear the pack. The Ferrari won't have enough steering lock though to get through the gap. They'll have to pull it back. So yes, it's just clear. Michael's got away too. And Liuzzi's all held up, Ralf Schumacher held up there, so an ideal time if you're anywhere near a window to come in and take some fuel.
But the race leader is nowhere near it. He's approaching the area now. He's just gone through sector 1. There is the race leader. He lost no time as a result of that. This is what happened.
At the top of the hill there, look, and that was Coulthard there getting hit by Michael. Michael's front wing is broken, so the Minardi spins in front of Coulthard. He has to slow down. And this is also then Montoya coming across the gridlock, the traffic jam.
Pole position currently occupied by Charles Leclerc. An awful lot of fans here in Monaco this weekend would love to see him keep up the pace.
Was that Red Bull sliding sideways?
That was Perez, and Perez has stopped at Portier, and I think Perez has gone into the barriers, and Carlos Sainz on the scene as well has made contact, and that is the end of qualifying. This year, it's Sergio Perez who's hit the barriers, and Charles Leclerc has grabbed pole.
One of those pendulum spins, and wait for it.
And when drivers just try and push that little bit too much, mistakes occur. Sliding around that right-hander, and there's Sainz doing exactly the same thing.
Looks like Coulthard's getting ready for a pit stop, we hear. Could this be a last top-up? Oh, and that's Irvine and Salo and Häkkinen. Oh my goodness! So there's only now here it is. Let's see what's happening. This is where Schumacher left it, and Irvine spins into sight in the Ferrari. Now let's see what happens. With the replay, this is him losing it as he exits Lowe's hairpin. So both Ferraris are out, and I think we're only going to have about 4 cars finish the Monaco Grand Prix.
Watch Oscar Piastri in second place. He's all over the back of the Scarlet Ferrari, trying to chase his way by. And the red flag is flying on lap 1 of 78. Oh, that's a big crash that we didn't see further back. Most important thing to see. Look, no front left, no front right. But Perez, thankfully, out of the car, and a huge amount of debris. But extraordinarily, 4 cars out on the opening lap. Watch Perez, it's going to be down the inside. It's Magnussen with the clip that causes the accident, and that's a massive hit into the wall.
He doesn't back out, does he? He just never, it's not in his DNA for Kevin Magnussen to back out. So Perez must have had a pretty bad start to be down there with both Haas cars.
And Magnussen's going to be on the right-hand side. That's where the contact is going to be.
Well, I mean, Magnussen will say that Perez should have given him a bit more space to go side by side up there.
Are you okay, Nico?
Damn it.
So this is going to be the angle, I think. There's the gap, and he's already touched the wall himself and then just keeps his foot in. He just never backs out. He's on 10 points on his licence. I think he'd be cautious at the moment.
It's extremely difficult to overtake on this circuit, but Jean Alesi is trying, and I think he's got past Alain Prost, but Gerhard Berger hits the Ferrari of Alain Prost. There's an enormous traffic jam. Somebody else is involved there. It's Stefano Modena, and everyone having to funnel through. Well, there's all sorts of incidents, and the red flag, in fact, is out, and this race stopped. There shouldn't be any injuries. It was more a traffic jam, but Jean Alesi got past Alain Prost, and really it was all down to Gerhard Berger, because Berger just simply could not brake hard enough when Alain Prost took his perfectly rightful line, and Gerhard Berger just thumped into the back of the Ferrari. Stefano Modena got a little bit involved as well, and so quite rightly they stopped this race.
Oh, look at that! Well, this is the worst possible thing that could happen at Monaco.
Into Old Station hairpin, Jenson Button meets the arrows of De La Rosa. Despite the number of cars involved, only Button and De La Rosa have damage. The race is stopped on the opening lap and there's work to be done before the restart. Stranded drivers race back to the pits and line up on the grid once more.
And now we have got a car park at Rascasse. Nico Hülkenberg can get past, Robert Kubica can get past. Kubica and Leclerc are kind of stuck there, and this is blocking the track. Double waved yellows. Russell gets going, Leclerc gets ahead of Giovinazzi. That was quick reactions there, but what caused this? Let's have a little look now. Down the inside goes Giovinazzi and spins George Russell round. Perez gets caught up in there as well. They did very well to sort that out before the leaders came anywhere near Rascasse as well.
The red flag was brought out in Saturday's second practice after a controversial incident involving 4 cars. There were several versions of what happened, but it was Juan Pablo who took the penalty.
Well, actually, David came out of the pits and hit the throttle and went fast, so I just followed him up the hill, and certainly I saw him slow down, so I hit the brakes as well, but then ran into him, and that's when I saw there were 2 other cars going very slowly up the hill. I don't know why they were going so slowly, but yeah, David could do nothing, and then I couldn't do anything either.
Ralph was already a little bit up the straight when he got his blue flag, so he moved over, but very difficult to be flat and overtake a car going up the hill, so naturally Juan Pablo had to back off. It's a feature of Monaco, but what he did in reaction to that is ridiculous. He slowed right down beside Ralph, went in front, brake tested him, then the concertina effect, and then Jacques coming up the hill, you know, unsighted, because you're kind of peering over the top of the cockpit and go straight into the back of me. So there's no question that sort of behaviour should be penalised.
They're all tucked up behind Maldonado, Petrov. They all have to get out of the way as Hamilton comes through past Petrov. And now the leaders are going to get mixed up in all of this lot as well.
And there's damage there, there's contact.
We've got contact
There'll
behind.
be safety car for sure now, Martin.
Petrov in the wall. Can the leaders thread their way through? Yes, they can. So we've got Petrov in the wall. The 3 leaders escape. Safety car has been deployed, unsurprisingly. Let's see what's going on then. We've got Suttil in the foreground here, Maldonado, you've got Hamilton and Petrov side by side into to back corner. Behind them, Al Jaswari. So it's Suttil gets wide into the barriers. Hamilton has to brake, at which point Al Jaswari hits Hamilton at the back. It's Suttil with a right rear dislocated.
Alguersuari's gone into the back of Lewis Hamilton, and then as he's careered into the barrier, Petrov has followed him in there.
Yeah.